Now, I've chosen a story from India, and I'll start with some of the characters and make sure that we understand which characters we're talking about, because we don't get into a story and think, what's he talking about, which character we're talking about. This story is set in a village in India, and the hero is a barber. Now, do we all know what a barber is?
Yes.
So barber, the beard. So it's someone who cuts hair and cuts beards. Now, this barber, his lord and master was the Raja, and Raja is another name for king in Indian, and he would never ever see the Raja because he just lived in a small village, and he just knew that the Raja lived just up on the hill in a palace that he was never allowed to go near. He would never ever think that he would ever see the Raja. But he was a popular barber. Lots of people would come for their haircuts, for have their beard shaven, and he was always busy. And he was in his barber shop, cutting somebody's hair. In fact, actually, no, he was cutting somebody's beard. Concentrating on that, and as always, talking to the customer, because that's what barbers do. I'm sure they do that all over the world, don't they? When they're cutting their hair, they're talking to you about their lives and your life, and he was talking about that. And he was a very talkative barber. And he was shaving, he was just starting to shave, and there was a knock at the door. And he thought, nobody ever knocks at my door, it says open. And they always come straight in. So he said, oh, sorry, I'll just go and open the door and see who it is. And he went in and he looked up, and he looked up, and he looked up, and there was a huge man. And this man had a sword, a huge sword. And he took out the sword, and the barber was really frightened. What do you want?
Barber, the Raja wants to see you.
Me? What have I done? What have I done?
The Raja wants to see you now.
Oh, well, I've just got to finish. I've just got to finish shaving this.
No, now.
So he went over to the man and took off the apron, and he said, "Oh, sorry, you've got to go out." "What's the matter? What's the matter?" "No, you've got to go. You've got to go now. You've got to go." And the man went out with half a beard. But he had to follow. The Raja had spoken. So he walked up through the village, everybody looking at him, a huge guard with his huge sword, leading the way up to the Raja's palace. And he said, well, what have I done? What have I done? What could I have done to go to the Raja? Because the Raja would only want to see me. Oh, if I'd done something wrong. He went up the steps, marble steps, beautiful steps, up to some huge, beautiful doors in the finest wood. And outside the door was two guards, even bigger, and with more swords. And they stood there. He thought, this is it. They're going to kill me. But they went, and opened the door to the Raja's palace. And he went in. It was a long corridor. It was like 2 football pitches long, and it had the most beautiful wall hangings and paintings and a beautiful carpet. And he went up until he came to some more doors and some even bigger guards. And there they were, and they were shh, and let him in to the doors. And he looked in, and he could just see at the far end of this magnificent room the Raja himself. The Raja clapped. And everybody left the room. So he was left with just the Raja. So he went towards the Raja and he said, I'm sorry, whatever I did, I'm very sorry. And he said, no, come here. So he came over to him. He said, Barber, I have heard you are the best barber in the land. Well, yes, I think people do like what I do. No, I've heard you are the best barber in the land. I am soon to be married, and I need a haircut. I need the best barber in the land. Oh, well, yes. Well, and how much do you charge? Oh, he said, well, I'll do it for free for you. No, I won't pay. 1 rupee. He said, I will give you 1,000 rupees. Enough for 3 years' work. He could close his shop. Oh, yes. But there is one thing. And he started to take off his turban. And he said, I am going to show you something that no one else has seen. And as he got down here, out flapped 2 enormous ears. And he looked, he saw what they are. No. Barber, you must not tell anybody that the Raja has got big ears. If you do, yes, they're very big. No, I'm sure I will not tell anybody that the Raja has big ears. Okay. And how do you like your haircut? Well, yes, I think if you do it short up the back there and short on the sides, but just keep this bit in the front. And so he started cutting, and he was a very good barber. He cut close in and that. Had to be very careful because there were these enormous big ears, and as you know, if you cut ears, they bleed, and they keep bleeding. So he was very careful with it, and he finished. He said, there you are, sire, I have finished. Are you happy with that? And he got the mirror, you know, they get the mirror to show round the back so that you can see the back. The Raja was very pleased and gave him his 1,000 rupees. And he was so pleased that he was feeling good, and he thought, well, I'll go now then, Raja. Yes, I'll go. I'll just go now. Just a minute, Barber. Have you remembered? Oh yes. I must not say to anyone that the Raja has big ears. Is that it? Yes. Or otherwise, yes. Yes. Okay. So he was taken all the way back down the corridor, out through those doors. By then he was the bye. All the way back to his village, to his shop, and there, waiting outside, was the man with half a beard. He said, well, what would you do? Oh, he said, well, I'm sorry, I can't actually deal with that. Can you come back in the morning, please? Because he was so excited about it, and he was a bit worried about saying about Roger's ears. So he shut the door, and the man went off to come back in the morning. Now his wife, all this time, didn't know where he was, and said, where have you been? I've had to turn away all these customers. Oh, where have you been? I have been to the Raja's palace. Been to the Raja's palace? How did you do that? Yes, he wanted me to cut his hair. You've cut the hair. You've touched the Raja. Yes, yes, yes. And he gave me 1,000 rupees. We'll have that. Thank you. What's he like? Is he tall? Yes, he's quite tall. And is he handsome? Yes, he's handsome. And what are his clothes like? His clothes are wonderful. But is there anything about him that is really special? Oh yes, yes. The Raja has got really big ear rings. He's got big ear rings. And if you don't mind, I'm going to bed now because so he went off to bed because he thought, I've got to go to bed to sleep because that's the only way that I'm not going to be able to say the Raja's got big ears. So he went up to sleep. But it didn't work really, and he was worried that he would talk in his sleep. So he didn't really get any sleep. He got up in the morning, he said, no, this is silly, I can do this. I will not say the Raja's got big ears. So he opened it up, and in came the man with his half his beard again. He said, oh right, okay, sit down. Now, let's finish off your beard. Okay. Oh, and where did you go yesterday? Well, I went to the Raja's palace. I cut the Raja's hair. You went to the Raj. So I am having my hair cut by the royal barber. Yes, you are. Oh, I like that. Yes. Can you just finish off the beard there? Yes. Oh, no, just stop a minute. Can you tell me about him? What's he like? Oh, well, he's quite tall, and yes, and he's got lovely clothes, and yes, and I think, yes, he seems quite strong, quite fit. Is there anything else about him? He's got big children. He's got big children. Yes, he's quite tall and he's got big children. And if you don't mind, can you go out now, please? Then he pushed him out of the shop. Again, this time, just with the quarter beard now. And he thought, oh, I can't do this. What am I going to do? I can't have my shop. I can't have anybody in because I'm just going to say, the Raja's got big ears. So he thought, oh, I'm going out for a walk. So he went out for a walk. And he saw some children playing. And they were mocking one child. They said, they were going, big ears, big ears. They were calling this boy big ears. And he went over to them. He said, you must stop that. He hasn't got big ears. If you want to know someone who's got big ears, it's the Roy. Roy has got big ears. And he had to walk away from them. The children looked at him right strangely. But he walked and he walked and he walked until he came into the jungle. And he thought, yes, now nobody will hear me out here. So I'm going to think, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get this out of my head about the Raja's big ears. So he went across to a tree, a banyan tree. And he caught hold of the tree, and he looked this way, and he looked that way, and then he said to the tree, the Raja's got big ears! The Raja's got big ears! I told a tree, I haven't told anybody. I feel so much better. So he went back, opened up his shop, finished the man's beard, and everything was normal for 2 weeks. He had lots of customers and he didn't say a single thing about the ears. I thought I'd said that. He looked, and there was the guard. No, he didn't do that. He had his sword firmly in his side. But he reached as if he was going to get his sword. And he pulled this out, and the barber was really scared that he thought this was it. And he took out a scroll, piece of paper, and he said, "Barber, you and your wife are invited to the marriage of the Raja." He gave him that. And he went to tell his wife. He said, "Do you know what's happened now? We have been invited to the Raja's wedding." Oh, she said, oh, where's that 1,000 rupees? I'm going to buy myself a new dress. So she went off to get herself a new dress, and they got ready, and the day came of the Raja's wedding. And they walked up through, they'd got their best clothes on, and they walked up through the village, very proud, and everybody was clapping them because somebody from the village was going up to the Raja's wedding. So they arrived, and he said, "Well, these are the guards, my friends, here," as they let them in. And then he said, "Look at this." He was telling his wife, "It's marvellous, isn't it? These lovely hangings and paintings." And of course they'd added more just for the wedding. They decorated it beautifully. It was the best decoration that money could buy. And they had a feast. The food was the best that you could get. And then came the time after the meal that the Raja let the entertainment begin. And of course he'd got the best dancers in the world. And he had got the best musicians in the world. And the best musicians in the world have the best instruments. And the best instruments are made from a very special wood. It's made from the banyan wood. So, they were preparing for themselves there, and they had the tabla. That's what we were expecting. And the fiddle. And the sitar. They were just waiting for that marvellous Indian classical music. So, musicians, dancers, begin. So they all prepared. Actually, we could all do this, couldn't we? Okay, you can choose. Who's going to play the fiddle? Anybody fiddlers? And tablas? Tablas? Wait, no. Haven't said so. Okay, and then the sitar. You're all sitting properly for the sitar because they sit down. So, ready? And the conductor there, ready? And ready to start, and expecting that music. But no, it didn't happen like that. No. When they started, the Raja's got big ears. The Raja's got big ears. Ooh ah, the Raja's got big ears. All the instrumentalists, all the musicians, dropped their instruments. What's happening? Because Raja's got big ears. The Raja stood up, looked around the room. "Barber, come here." The barber went over to the "Oh no, sorry, I didn't, no. Barber, you are the only person to know this." Because he had his turban on. No idea. He said, "Well, you must have told someone that the Raja's got big ears." And he said, No, I didn't tell someone. I told a tree." The Raja looked at him very seriously. And then he said, "He told a tree." He told a tree. Well, and he started to unwind his turban. He said, "Some people have got big noses. Some people have got big feet. Well, your Raja has got big, magnificent ears. And he asked the musicians, are you ready again? Okay. And 1, 2, 3. And it came out the same though. So all together, the Raja's got big ears, the Raja's got big ears. Ooh-ah, the Raja's got big ears. Okay? Give yourself a clap.